Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Awareness Sunday morning meditation. My name is Dale Covey. I'm a licensed practitioner here at the Center for Spiritual Awareness. And let's breathe for a few minutes. Well, a few seconds. Breathe. And release. Breathe in. And release. Breathe in. Breathe in. And release. And find yourself in a comfortable position. Do you need to move around a little bit? Get comfortable in your seat or on your cushion, or even in your bed for those at home. And scan your body. Scan from your toes to your ankles, to your thighs, to your torso, your chest, your shoulders, your neck, your face, your forehead, your third eye in between your eyebrows, the crown of your head. And take a deep breath. And release. And take another deep breath. And release. And breathe. And focus again on your body. In the body scan that you just did, is there a spot that needs healing energy? Is there a spot that needs to feel the illumination of love? To know the vibration of peace and caring. Send that healing, loving, caring energy to your body. Send the light that is divine health send the illumination of divine love. Send the vibration of peace in all of your affairs. and breathe. And breathe. Breathe. Release anything that is not needed in this moment. Let go. Let go. Release. Relax. Let go. If it helps to do so, you may let go and put everything in a loving jar by your door. Just send any thoughts that you don't need in this moment, any feelings that may be coming up that don't serve you right now, any constriction, any discomfort. See it flowing to that beautiful holding space where you know if it's right for you to pick it back up, you can. And for now, just let it go. Release. Relax. And breathe. And breathe. And let's send ourselves some loving kindness. Say to yourself silently, may I be filled with loving kindness. May I be filled, and may I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. And may I be happy. See the energy, the love, the illumination of loving kindness flow within yourself and breathe. And allow a loved one to come to mind. whether it's a lovely little baby, your favorite cat, or your dog, or your life partner, your best friend. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. And may you be happy. And if you are comfortable and ready to do so, bring to mind something or someone with whom there may be some discord, some discomfort, and send loving kindness. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. And may you be happy. And let's encompass all. May we be filled with loving kindness. Feel the energy, the illumination, the love that flows into us now. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. Visualize the healing energy of the divine, of the source of all creation, filling us with the health and wellness. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be peaceful and at ease. And may we be happy. we be happy. And gently, ever so gently, come back into this room and into this space, knowing that we carry this with us always. Namaste.
Buenos dias.
Good morning, CSA. Just want to say thank you so much for being here. I know, right? I surrender all to you. Everything I give to you, withholding nothing, withholding nothing. I surrender all to you. Everything I give to you, withholding nothing, withholding nothing. I surrender all to you. Everything I give to you, withholding nothing, withholding nothing. melodies from heaven. Rain down on me, rain down on me. Melodies from heaven, yeah. Rain down on me, rain down on me. Take me in your arms and hold me close. Rain down on me, rain down on me. Fill me with the presence I love the most. Rain down on me, rain down on me. Melodies from heaven, yeah. Rain down on me, rain down on me. Melodies from heaven, yeah. Rain down on me, rain down on me.
Take me in your arms.
Take me in your arms and hold me close. Rain down on me, rain down on me. Fill me with the presence I love the most. Rain down on me, rain down on me. Melodies from heaven, rain down on me, rain down on me. Melodies from heaven, rain down on me, rain down on me. Take me in your arms and hold me close. Rain down on me, rain down on me. Fill me with the presence I love the most. Rain down on me, rain down on me. Melodies from heaven, yeah. Rain down on me, rain down on me. Melodies from heaven, yeah. Rain down on me, rain down on me.
Well, now's the time where we send our little special ones back to their own special place. And we send the little one inside of us to that special place as well.
Spirit loves the little children. All right.
You need to walk this way, this way, this way.
Love the world.
Walk this
I
way.
love that bow
Come on.
tie.
Come show off your outfit. Come on.
Who you are, you're a bright and shining
Own
star.
it, own it.
Spirit loves the little children of the world.
I'm sorry, you come fit it. You need to be highlighted, right?
The presence of the Lord is here. The presence of the Lord is here.
You better sing, Yana.
I feel it in the atmosphere. The presence of the Lord is here. Woo! The presence of the Lord is here.
If you don't feel the presence, I want you to check your pulse real quick. Because it's here right now. Do you feel it in the room right now? We want you all to sing along. Come on.
The presence of the Lord is here. The presence of the Lord is here. I feel it in the atmosphere. The presence of the Lord is here. The presence of the Lord is here.
Now it's time to talk about the Spirit of the Lord.
feel it in the atmosphere. The love of the Lord is here. The love of the Lord is here.
Let's talk about the power of the Lord.
Power of the Lord is here. The power of the Lord is here. I feel it in the atmosphere. The power of the Lord is here. The power of the Lord is here. Woo!
Here we go.
I can feel the presence of the Lord, and I'm gonna get my blessings right now. I can feel the presence of the Lord.
Yo, you gotta say this to believe it and make it happen. Come on.
Right now, I can feel the presence of the Lord, and I'm gonna get my blessings. Right now, I can feel the presence of the Lord, and I'm
Don't mind if I
gonna
take it
get
out.
my blessings. Right now, I can feel the presence of the Lord, and I'm gonna get my blessing. Right now, I can feel the presence of the Lord, and I'm gonna get my blessing. Right now, I can feel the presence of the Lord, and I'm gonna get
today will be
the best day of my life.
I believe that today gonna be
will be the best day of my life.
I believe that today will be
the best day of my
I
life.
believe that today gonna be
the best day of my life.
the best day of my life.
Best day of my life.
The best day of my life.
Best day of my
Oh,
life.
the best day of my life.
Best day of my life.
The best day of my life.
Best day of my life.
The best day of my life.
Best day of my life.
The best day of my life.
Best day of my life.
The best day of my life.
Best day of my life.
The best day of my life. Everybody, come on.
day of my
Say, I
life.
believe that today will be.
best day of my
I
life.
believe that today gonna be.
the best day of my
I
life.
believe that today gonna be.
best day of my
I
life.
believe that today,
be the best day of my life.
the best day of my life,
Best day of my life.
the best day of my life,
Best day of my life.
the best day of my life,
Best day of my life.
the best day of my life,
Best day of my
say
life.
the best day of my life,
Best day of my life.
the best day of my life,
Best day of my life.
oh, the best day of my life,
Best day of my life.
best day of my life.
Best day of my life.
Any day the CSA praise team is here is the best day of my life. God is good when? I'm so glad to have you in the church that love is building here in West Sacramento. I always like to remind myself what kind of church we're in case you're visiting for the first time today. We're a church with many, many, many beliefs, and they all boil down to these four. The four beliefs are these. Number one is that God is all there is. There's no oppositional power to that power. There's no, whatever you want to call it, Allah, Elohim, the sacred grandmother tree, infinite intelligence, divine wisdom, love. Whatever you want to call that entity, that's all there is. There's no external evil, there's no external devil. Now you and I know there's plenty of evil and plenty of devilishness in this world right now because we're seeing it on television, we're hearing about it on the radio, we're reading about it in the newspaper. We know there's evil and devilishness going on, but we believe it starts and stops right here in the minds of human beings. And the most important part of that is that it stops right here in the minds of human beings. The second belief that we have is that all thought is creative and influential. And as a result of that, we're thoughtful what kind of thinking that we do around here. We don't beat ourselves up. If we have a mean-spirited thought, we just put in a new thought and we keep moving on. We're not a shaming tribe. We're not a blaming tribe. We just put in a new thought, keep marching. The third belief that we have, and this gets a little tougher, is that everything in our experience is either a call for love or an expression of love. No exceptions, none, zip, and sometimes that's hard because calls for love can come ugly, they can come clumsy, but if we can return love to that moment, we can transform that moment and begin to transform the entire planet. The last belief that we have that we hold on to with all of our heart, all of our mind, and all of our soul is that you are whole, perfect, and complete just as you are right this second. Maybe there's some behaviors you want to let go of, some attitudes, some patterns of thinking you want to let go of, but at your essence, you are whole, perfect, and complete right now. So knowing that that's the kind of church we're in, I'd like to just welcome any second-time visitors. If this is your second time at CSA, would you just raise your hand because our ushers have a gift for you. So glad you came back. And now we'd like to welcome any first-time visitors. We're not going to ask you to stand up, say your name, But if you're a first-time visitor and you would raise your hand, our ushers have a gift for you. So glad you're here.
So glad you came to celebrate Spirit. You are welcome here. We hope this isn't your last time. Anytime you're passing by, you are welcome here. So glad you came. Feel free to worship and celebrate Spirit's name. So glad you came to celebrate Spirit. You are welcome here.
So we also want to welcome Jermaine, Eva, Roseanne, Kyla, Laylee, Larry, Sharice, and Liz.
And all of you here today.
Good morning, CSA. Woo. My name is Phil Litz. I have the honor and pleasure of serving on your board of trustees. How's everybody doing today? Please join me in reading our mission statement on the wall behind me, also in your bulletin. The Center for Spiritual Awareness is a diverse and caring community in which we share spiritual nourishment and celebrate all paths to God through the principles of science of mind. Let's see if I can get through this. Today's altar flowers are from Barbara Rogers, and her note reads, in honor of and appreciation for Patricia Tyree, praise and worship team member extraordinaire. Thank you for lighting up CSA Sunday after Sunday, going on 8 years with your unique style, amazing vocals, and joyous spirit. We have been magnificently blessed by your service and beauty. Woo! Amen. Woohoo! Reverend Peggy is facilitating a moon manifesting circle on Sunday, March 27th. Join her in learning how to use the moon to become a deliberate manifestor. If you would like to leave the sanctuary on Sunday, I thought there was a period there. If you would like to leave the sanctuary on Sunday, April 10th, with up to $10,000 in cold hard cash, we are selling raffle tickets right over there after the service. We have 2 weeks left, and we take check, cash, money order, credit card, and 15 gallons of gas for a ticket. A new class with Reverend Brenda Lambert called The Art and Science of Spiritual Mind Treatment is starting up Tuesdays, April 19th. Want to know how to use prayer to manifest or heal or change some condition in your life? Pick up a flyer in the lobby with more information. CSA Adventure Ministry is going roller skating on Friday, April 15th, and yes, orthopedists will be on hand. Look for the flyers in the lobby. We are now offering prayer after service here in the front. Please take a seat in the row directly in front of me, and a practitioner will call for you. Only vaccinated practitioners are offering this service at this time. Now is a great time to check Bennett Facebook, tell all your friends what they're missing here, and come next Sunday, and then turn off your cell phone. Have a great week.
Thank you, Phil. A couple of other announcements. We are looking for ushers. If you want to feel good on Sunday morning, be an usher, because it's such a great thing to greet people as they come in. If you're interested in learning more about usher duty here at CSA, go right under the Sacred Service sign, and our usher Captain Peter Solomon will meet you there and tell you a little bit more about it. I also wanted to, I'm not going to read, this is a long letter, but basically what this letter says is that we join ACT, which is an organization that we belong to called Area Congregations Together. And ACT is about the business of reaching out into the community to make life better for all of its citizens. In this case, they are reaching out to ask the city to stop the sweeps of homeless camps until they can create some housing that is appropriate to move those people into. So I printed up a bunch of these long letters. That's basically what it says. I put up a bunch of these long letters over there. If you are so inclined, would you sign one and leave it in the basket? And I will make sure it gets to City Hall at the appropriate time. The other announcement that I want to make right now is Easter's coming up. This is the first Easter in 2 years that we are able to have an in-person service with an Easter egg hunt for the kids. So we're inviting you next week to bring some eggs with candy already inside. So 2 things. Number 1, I know some of you you wish children wouldn't have sugar, especially your own children probably on that day. But here's what I ask: put a little candy. Don't put a penny in. Don't put a little carrot stick inside. Just put a little bit of candy in there for the kids this time, okay? So that's one thing. And the other thing is, don't bring me your package of eggs and a package of candy, because I have more important things to do than sit around and put that candy in those eggs. So fill them up before you come. The last thing is getting ready for Easter Sunday. I wanted to get the floors polished up, so we're going to be doing that tomorrow morning after service. In case I forget to mention this again, I'm asking those of you in each section who feel physically able to stack your chairs in groups of 5 so we can move them out and be ready for the floor cleaners on Tuesday morning. All right, that's the sum and substance of my announcements. Alrighty, if you will welcome any beings in your heart right now. Maybe somebody's in your heart right now that is traveling or not feeling well, or it's the anniversary of a crossing over, but you would like to have them celebrate their spirit with us this morning. Maybe it's even a pet, any sentient being that's in your heart this day. Would you speak their name aloud as I light this memory candle? Eleanor, Emma, Jesus, Joe, I light this candle in their name, and in the name of peace everywhere. And now I'd like to just sound my bowl 3 times and invite you to allow the tone of this bowl to take it deep into that place where you know and you know you know no harm has ever come. You know and you know you know you are whole, perfect, and complete.
I need to be still. I need to be still and let God love me. I need to be still and let God love me. When the world starts to push and shove me, I need to be still and let God love
I need to be still and let God love me.
In the stillness of the divine heart, the divine mind, the divine wisdom, the divine power that is of and from and as the source of all creation, in all people, in all relationships, and all places and communities. And if it is in all, it must be in me, this power that is love and wisdom and peace and joy must also be in me and every other being on this planet, in this congregation, in everyone within the sound of my voice. There is no separation. We are one with the source and with each other. And in this knowing of connection, in this knowing of divine love, I speak my word for the beauty of this day, the beauty of this service, the beauty of the hands and hearts that come together to create this celebration. And I give thanks. I give thanks for knowing this strength and wisdom and love as each of us, as the Center for Spiritual Awareness. I give thanks and I release my word into the law. I let go and let God, and so it is. Good morning. Thank you, thank you. My name is Dale Covey. I am a licensed spiritual practitioner here at the Center for Spiritual Awareness. And as I straighten out my little affirmation card that's been in my pocket, I will say it once and then invite you to stand and join me. Today I keep firm before me that I am fine. My size is fine. My color is fine. My way of speaking is fine. My hair, or lack of, it is fine. Simply, I am fine. Will you join me? Today I keep firm before me that I am fine. My size is fine. My color is fine. My way of speaking is fine. My hair, or lack of, is fine. Simply, I am fine. And so it is.
Good morning. My name is Bess, and today's sacred reading in celebration of Women's History Month is from Sonia Renee Taylor's book, The Body is Not an Apology. We must make peace with difference. This is a simple perspective when applied to nature, but oh, how we struggle when transferring this concept onto human form. The late poet and activist Audre Lorde said, "It's not our differences that divide us. It is our inability to recognize, accept, and celebrate those differences." Think of all the times we have heard some well-meaning person attempting to usher in social harmony by declaring, "But aren't we all the same?" Here's the short answer to that. No, we are not all the same. No more than every tree is the same or every houseplant or dog. Humans are a complicated and varied bunch, and those variations impact our lived experiences. The idea that we are all the same is often a mask. It is what we tell ourselves when we haven't mastered making peace with not understanding something. Rather than owning that we don't understand someone's experience, we shrink it or stuff it into our tiny capsules of knowledge. And so it is. Thank you.
Well, good morning. In today's session of Welcome Back to Church, I have Miss Summer here. So Summer, share with everyone why you decide to come back to church in person.
Well, I noticed that watching church online is very easy to get distracted. And also, the whole reason that we come to CSA is to be a part of a spiritual community. And it's everyone here. It's not just receiving the spiritual message for us that is delivered. It's the whole experience of coming to the church, experiencing the people, the music, working with the children, all of those things. So that was important for us, and that's why we came back.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you for working with our children. We appreciate that. I promise we'll get it together. We are all here. Come on down, Douglas. So we are continuing to grow the choir back and get us back in this full spirit. So in case you didn't know, rehearsals are Monday nights at 7 p.m. We'd love to see you there. There's at least 4 or 5 other folks that just joined last week. But obviously, give them a hand, yes. But obviously, we've been working on these songs for a couple weeks, so they're not up here today. So next week, this number will be even bigger. And I hope the week after that, you'll come join us and make it even bigger than that.
I cannot explain it. This might not make sense. I know what it looks like, but I choose to go against that. I'm speaking something different, speaking something different, claiming something different, expecting something different. I cannot explain it. This might not make sense. I know what it looks like, but I choose to go against that. I'm speaking something different, speaking something different, claiming something different, expecting something different. This week will be a week for miracles. This week
Let's give it up again for CSA Choir. Woo! We are having church here today. What about our CSA house band? Aren't they amazing? Let's give them some love. And I know I haven't been here in a while, but I think praise and worship, you just blew my mind this morning. Awesome job, everybody. Good job. My name is Mitch Austin. I am your ministerial intern here at CSA. I'm so grateful to be with you this morning. And I want to welcome Susan, Jeff, Novi, Elizabeth, Ebony, Aaron, Christy, Rosemary, Divine, and Terry. Woo! So glad you're with us online today. You know, this is the fullest I've ever talked here in the sanctuary. Yes, since pre-COVID. This is beautiful, beautiful. So you get one guess about today's subject. Just one guess. I've been dying to wear this up here. We're going to talk about love today. We're going to talk about love and its wisdom, its power, and its grace. You know, the Greeks, they had a lot of words for love because they're all about it, right? And when a culture values something, they have a lot of words. Like they have a word for that love between lovers, eros. And then they have a word for the love between friends, philia love. And then they have a word for that love that's in everything. It's in the ethers, it's in the air, it's in the water. It's in you and I, agape love. And we're going to unpack that agape love today and see what it has for us. The answers, the love, and the inspiration. You know, I was working on this talk early one morning, and I decided to go out for a walk in the park, and the sun was rising, and the beautiful pink and red rays of the sun. I thought, oh, this is so beautiful. And I heard the birds singing. It was the most beautiful, sweet songs I've ever heard. And then I saw the cherry blossoms. Has everyone seen the cherry blossom trees? And I'm like, this is the best morning ever. And then I realized I was working on a talk for love. I was walking around with my eyes of love. It transforms the moment we're in when we come to it. And as I was walking in the park, I thought about all the material I went over to put this talk together. And what I was realizing, whether I was looking at a poem or a scientific study or some of the new thought people, all of their lenses, everything they were bringing to the world, it all led back to love. One person in particular came to mind, Dr. Schrock. I was watching an interview with him, and he was talking about a study he had done on cancer patients. And he had three groups. He had one group that wasn't doing treatment, one that was doing treatment, and one that he worked with, adding visualization, meditation, and mindfulness. And he was looking at the data because he considers himself a very pragmatic scientist, and he looked at the numbers, and his group was doing the best. And he thought, well, I want to find out, like, what is it that I'm teaching them that's really resonating with them? So he interviewed all of his students, and they started to say things like, I could tell you really care about me. I really felt supported. I felt as if you listened to me. And it wasn't on his list. And what he was realizing, all those things are qualities of love. So then he went and wrote a book, Why Love Heals. Changed the doctor. Love changed the doctor. Back to this stream of love. So who has some questions or something they want to shift? Anybody got some questions you need answered? Something you want to shift? Online, throw some hearts and thumbs up, because today's talk title is Love is the Answer. But what's the question? You ever hear that love's the answer and it kind of feels like the truth? But then I thought, does it work on all the questions? Like, are there some questions it doesn't work for? And we're going to unpack that today and see what the wisdom and the power of love has for life's most pressing questions. But first, let's start off with, what is love? So love has been called the most powerful force on the planet. For some people, it's another name for God. David Bohm, a theoretical physicist who studied quantum mechanics, called love the harmonizing, unifying power of the universe. And then there were some social scientists who decided, why don't we ask children, see if they know what love is? So here are some of their responses. When someone loves you, the way they say your name is different. You just know your name is safe in their mouth. Juan, age 4. Love is what's in the room with you at Christmas if you stop opening presents and just listen. Sharika, age 7. Love is like a little old man and a little old woman who are still friends even after they know each other so well. Tommy, age 6. Pure gold, isn't it? Pure gold. And here was the kicker. If there was a winner, it was this one. So there was a 4-year-old child whose next door neighbor was an elderly gentleman who had just lost his wife. Upon seeing the man cry, the child went into the gentleman's yard, climbed up on his lap, and sat there. When the child returned, the mother asked, "What did you say to the neighbor?" The child said, "Nothing. I just helped him cry." Beautiful wisdom, and we were all born with this wisdom, yes. I'm still on a journey, I don't know about you, to get back there, where all that knowing is. Here's what Ernest Holmes says about love. He says, love is within us. It cannot be destroyed. It can be ignored, and to the extent that we abandon love, we feel like it's abandoned us. Denying love is our only problem, and embracing love the only answer. Through the power of love, we can let go of past history. We can begin again. Love heals, love forgives, and love makes whole. Isn't that great? You only have one problem. That's the good news. Denying love. And there's one answer. Embracing it. Charles Fillmore, the founder of Unity, he says that love is the power that joins and binds in divine harmony the universe and everything in it. The physical representation of love is the heart, the office of which is to equalize the circulation of blood in the body. And as the heart equalizes the flow of life in the body, so love harmonizes the thought of mind. What's another way to describe harmonizing thought of mind? Peace. Peace of mind. And so any answer that doesn't bring us peace of mind might not be the highest answer. It may not be in alignment with love. So you might say, okay, Mitch, what about those questions? What does it look like when we bring love to some questions in our life? You know, sometimes I've had people on more than one occasion come to me for prayer and counseling about what to do, how to help their adult child that's struggling with addiction. If we lean into love, the answer might be something like saying no to financial help so they can finally get on their healing path, and stepping into the strength of love to be able to do that, but still see them as moving towards their healing and their wholeness. That's what love can do for us with these types of questions. Another one I often get is, how do I support someone who's grieving? Grief is tough. Sometimes we're afraid to say the wrong thing, right? And we don't want to make it worse. And then it's tempting just to kind of like not be there or not show up or just kind of disappear. But what if we showed up as love, like the love of that child that just sat there and helped someone cry? It isn't hard. And love can lead you for the next thing to do or say if you're supporting someone who's grieving. Okay, who has some difficult people in their life? Anybody? Anybody? Is it just me? Anybody got some difficult? Yeah, I know, the neighbor, the person at work, maybe someone in the family. How do I handle a person that's being difficult? How do I handle a person that's being difficult? Here at CSA, we teach everything is a call for love or an expression of love. No exceptions. So how can we bring the love that somebody's missing to this difficulty? We can lean in and gain understanding without judgment. You know who did this just so well? It just This story is so amazing. Joel Osteen. We got any Joel Osteen fans? I love him. I listen to him all the time. He told this story in his sermon, a story about where he's leaning in, and he's actually in this grocery store line, and he's noticing that the checker is being really salty with everybody and really abrupt. And then everyone's giving it back to her, being salty back to her, right? And he's in the line. He's about to come up and check his stuff out. And he decides to lean into this checker a little bit. He says, "Tough day, huh?" And she kind of let her guard down. She goes, "Yes, my baby's in the ICU, and my husband just lost his job." And Joel said, "Would you like me to pray with you? Right here." And so they prayed right there at the checkout stand. And when he walked away, the lady behind him ran up and gave her a hug. And then there was a man in line whose wife worked at the hospital, and they called her and had her check on the baby. See, that's the transforming power of love. Everybody that came through that line now was part of her solution, part of her support. So not only does love give us the wisdom and strength to show up, but it can also transform us. I'm going to share a story with you. Some of you might have heard it before, and if you have, I'm going to invite you to hear it again with a beginner's mind. Because the truth is, you're different. And if you come to it with a beginner's mind, you might hear something new in this beautiful story that illustrates the power of love to transform us. The name of the story is Teddy and Mrs. Thompson. Mrs. Thompson stood at the front of her 5th grade class on the first day of school, and she told the children a lie. Like most teachers, she looked at her students and told them that she loved them all the same. But that simply wasn't true, because there in the front row, slumped in his seat, was a little boy named Teddy Stoddard. Miss Thompson had watched Teddy the year before, and he didn't play well with other children. His clothes were messy, and he was in constant need of a bath. Teddy could be unpleasant at times. It got to the point where Mrs. Thompson actually took delight in marking his papers with a big, broad red pen, X's, and a big F at the top. At the school where Mrs. Thompson worked, she was required to review every file of the children in her class. She put off Teddy's to last, and when she finally reviewed the file, she was in for a surprise. Teddy's 1st grade teacher wrote, "Teddy is a bright child with a ready laugh and does his work neatly and has good manners. He is a joy to be around." His 2nd grade teacher wrote, "Teddy is an excellent student and well-liked by his classmates. But he's troubled because his mother has a terminal illness and life at home must be a struggle." 3rd grade teacher wrote, "Teddy's mother's death has been hard on him. He tries to do his best, but his father doesn't show much interest. His home life will soon affect him if steps aren't taken." Teddy's teacher wrote that Teddy is withdrawn, doesn't show much interest in school, and sometimes he sleeps in class. By now, Mrs. Thompson was ashamed of herself. She felt even worse because Christmas was coming and she was so busy she couldn't give Teddy extra attention. And there she was in the classroom with all of the students' gifts wrapped in beautiful bows and brightly colored paper. Except for Teddy's. Teddy's was clumsily wrapped in a heavy paper brown bag he got from the grocery store. Mrs. Thompson took great pains to open it in the middle of the other presents. Some children began to laugh when she found a rhinestone bracelet with some of the rhinestones missing, and a bottle that was quarter full of perfume. She stifled the children's laughter. She put on the bracelet and exclaimed how pretty it was and dabbed a little perfume on her wrist. Teddy that day stayed after school just long enough to say, "Mrs. Thompson, today you smelled just like my mom used to." After the children left, she cried for an hour. On this very day, she quit teaching reading, writing, and arithmetic, and instead she began teaching children. Mrs. Thompson began to play coach paid close attention to Teddy as she worked with him. As time went on, his mind came alive. She encouraged him. He responded. And by the end of the year, Teddy had become the smartest kid in the class. Despite her lie, he had become one of her teacher's pets. A year later, Mrs. Thompson found a note underneath her door from Teddy telling her that she was the best teacher he'd ever had in his whole life. 6 years passed, and to her surprise, another note came. Teddy had wrote that he had finished high school third in his class, and she was the best teacher that he had had his whole life. 4 more years go by, a letter comes. He said, times have been tough, but I stayed in school and I graduated from college with the highest honors, and assured Mrs. Thompson that she was still the very best teacher he'd ever had. 4 more years go by, and yet another letter, this time explaining after he got his bachelor's, he decided to go a little further, and he signed the letter Theodore F. Stoddard, MD. But the story doesn't end there. One final letter came in the spring. Teddy had met a girl and he was going to get married. He explained that his father had died a couple years ago and was wondering if Mrs. Thompson might agree to sit in the place at the wedding usually reserved for the mother of the groom. Of course, Mrs. Thompson did, and she wore that bracelet and some of that perfume. After the wedding, Teddy came up to her and gave her a hug and said, Mrs. Thompson, thank you so much for making me feel important and showing me that I could make a difference. Mrs. Thompson, with tears in her eyes, whispered back, Teddy, you have it all wrong. You were the one that taught me I could make a difference. I didn't know how to teach until I met you. Blessed be, yes, blessed be. Beautiful story. So I was getting to the end of putting this talk together, and I thought, does love work on life's biggest question? I mean, big question. I thought, what's the big question so many of us have? And the one I came up with is, are we getting it right? Are we getting life right? Anybody ever wonder that? And I was thinking about my own life. You know, I never gave my mom the grandchildren she wanted. I've never been married. I don't have a home. Like, I have a list. Maybe some of us do. And then I thought, well, who in my mind is getting life right? They have a family, a house, a great retirement I'm still working on. They have a great reputation and crazy, amazing resume. People in the community love them. They're well thought of. I thought, gosh, maybe that's getting life right. But then I had another thought. I thought, what if that person comes to the end of their life and they kept the lid on their heart? Some unexpressed love. See, I think they would have missed it. And so I want to ask you right now, where have you kept the lid on your heart? Where have you kept some love withheld? I'm going to invite everyone right now to take a breath in and let it out. And if it's comfortable to do so, close your eyes. And just drop down into your heart space, that wise, strong space of our being. And ask yourself, is there anyone I have put out of my heart? Or have I been withholding love from someone? Maybe it's a family member. You had a falling out and you just don't talk to them anymore. Or maybe it's at work. You just do the minimum and you get out. You don't really help people or pour your love there. Perhaps it's a partner. You don't feel they're doing enough or being enough, and so you're holding back your love. Or maybe it's a friend. You've let your differences put distance between you, but you still love them. Or perhaps it's yourself you don't show love to. Maybe you judge yourself, shame yourself, neglect yourself. Maybe you don't think you can trust yourself with some praise. Or maybe it's God. Maybe it's Spirit. Maybe you don't pray anymore. Maybe you don't do your gratitude anymore for all that you've been given. And I want you to think of one loving act you could do to shift this relationship, no matter how small. Maybe it's a phone call. Maybe it's a smile across the room. Whatever it is, call it up in your heart now. And resolve to take that action. Because that's why we're here. To be loved and to receive love. And I invite you now back into the room to open your eyes, come back into the room, fully present. And so I want to take the lid off of my heart with this spiritual community. I know I haven't been here a lot. And it doesn't mean I don't love you. I do. I love each and every person in this room. And I want you to know that. I don't want you to guess at it. I want you to know it. And I want you to feel it. And I also want to take my lid off my heart for Reverend Georgia. You've been my mentor. You've been the person that's poured into me. I wouldn't be up here without you. I don't even know if I'd be on the planet without this spiritual community. You are my Mrs. Thompson, and I love you. And I want to pour my love into Reverend Rick. Oh, yes. You're getting the love, whether you can take it or not. You're getting it. Here's what I want you to know, and I think we all know this. Rick has a very big brain, but he has an even bigger heart. And we can lean into his heart, and we can trust him with our love, with our secrets, with our pain. And I love you for that, my brother. I love you. So there's one bonus question I'm going to provide for this community, because you're going through such a massive change, and I've heard the question in different places and spaces, and it's, what will happen to this spiritual community? What will it be? And I want you to drop into your heart right now. And I want you to hear this. It will be what you make it. The love that you pour in won't only come back, it will amplify. No tree drops an apple and only one seed sprouts. It's got tons of seed. One act of love can ripple through this community and elevate it to places it has yet to go. Yes? So I want us to remember, no matter what the struggle, what the challenge, what the question, always remember that love is always the answer. Blessed be. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Woo! Let's take this message into prayer, knowing that there is only one power, one presence, one being, by whatever name you use or choose, and I will call it love. Love has the wisdom, the power, and the grace to climb every mountain, to swim every stream, and to amplify the joys of life. And so I know that each and every person here today is a channel of love, pouring through and in and as everything you are, everything you're doing, and every brave journey that you're on. And so I speak my word into the one now, knowing that love wins. Our love wins. Our love matters. Our love heals. And so I simply give thanks for the power of love. I give thanks for this moment on the planet. I give thanks for this beautiful, bright, healing, loving community. I know that we are making a difference. I give thanks for this, and together we say, and so it is. That's a big.
Thank you, Mitch. Powerful, powerful. Yes. You know, as you know, we don't ask you to do anything that we don't do. And so we invite you to tithe, and we are a tithing organization. We take a portion of your income every single month, and we give it to some group of people who are shining the light of God's love. Now, they may never use the word God, and we don't care, because often we don't either. But what they do know is that there is something beautiful in the human spirit. And they are about increasing that human spirit in every single human being. So this month, I am pleased to say that we are sharing our tithe with Black Women Organized for Political Action. And if you saw any of Ketanji Brown Jackson's ridiculousness on television, you know we need more groups like this. So, so I am inviting to come up, Danielle, come up if you wouldn't mind. And Danielle, not Danielle at all, Melanie Richardson is a member of that group. Could you hand me this microphone? Melanie, can you tell us a little bit about the organization?
Good morning. First of all, or afternoon right now. Oh, no, morning.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for welcoming me personally,
Yes.
from the door to the songs to everything, the cloth, I mean, all of it. I feel welcomed and seen, and I feel a part of it, so thank you so much. So that means a lot. And so my name is Melanie Richardson, and I'm the president of BUWAPA, Black Women Organized for Political Action. It started in 1968, and our state president is still our president, and she is royalty to us. 12 women who decided, you know, we want to have our voice, and we deserve that.
Yes.
And we will gather to do that. And you know, like people say, it only takes a few to really make an impact. And then also many hands make light work, so we believe in all of that. So we have been working to educate, to inform, we have this campaign called You Too Sis, and that's for women who felt they didn't have a voice, they didn't have a place. And so it's been fantastic. We've been educating younger people. We have been demystifying these political processes. We've been sitting in spaces that didn't welcome us at all, and actually, you know, making us feel like we didn't belong. So we have done this wholeheartedly and with enthusiasm and a little bit different so that we're welcoming folks. And so we are excited to receive this support because many hands make light
Yes.
work. We really need support of individuals who see everyone. And that's why I'm here. And I've been the president, and you all know that life is busy, but this is a passion. And so then I stay up a little bit later, and I do what I need to do, right. And I give and give and give, just like you all seem to give and give here. So I appreciate it. Dr. Green shared this opportunity with us, right. Which is another example of how people, when they are welcomed and represented, that more things can come. So thank you so much.
Great, great. So let me just say that we are blessed to give them 1,122 of your dollars. Thank you, thank you. All right. Choir, we're ready for you again. And I want to just say Douglas did an absolute excellent job. Yes. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. No, give me that back. We never want to, we might forget the music, we might forget the message, but we'll never forget the collection, okay? Something wonderful is, money is God in action. I send it forth to bless and to prosper all who come in contact with it. And so it is. Amen.
Are there ever any times when, like, things just happen, like life just happens, right? And it happens for your good, which it should. And you're just like, I'm just so in awe of what happened, right? You don't expect it. You don't, in some cases, even ask for it. You're just entitled to it, and God sees it through for you. This song is called In Awe of You, and I think it talks about that moment when you just receive without asking, and you're just in amazement and awe-struck at what God does for you. So close your eyes while you listen to this beautiful choir sing this song, and take that in and be in awe when you move forward in life.
There's none like you in
the CSA New Thought Gospel Choir under the direction of Mr. David Mormon. Yeah.
Is it on? I'll wait for David. Patricia, please come up here with us. Come on. I know it's going to be difficult to do this without being too emotional. Patricia, you have been so much fun to work with, so much fun to create with, so much fun to sing with, so much fun to harmonize with. You have brought joy to my life. You've brought joy to the lives of everyone in here. It's hard to think about how we're going to do this without you, but we know this is your time to go and give your love and nurturing to your mother. And we usher you along, but we're going to miss you intensely. And I want to honor you with these flowers. Here's a card with a little goodie inside. I won't tell you what it is now, but I think you're going to like it. And we just want to tell you how much we love you. We love you from the bottom of our heart. It's been amazing to be with you in this way.
So you will see Patricia from time to time. She's taking care of her mother, and you know family always comes first here at CSA. And so taking care of her mom on Sunday morning, who's no longer able to be in the home alone, Patricia has had to make that difficult decision, and we honor you for doing that. We know you'll be back. We know you'll be back.
I'm going to miss you guys so much. So much love here. So much love. So much fun. I can't say goodbye. It's not goodbye.
No.
That's it.
That's good. Okay, so just to just to review a few announcements. One, if you would like to help support people who are unhomed, not have to have a sweep right now until another situation has been made available to them. It looks like somebody tidied these up again, which means look underneath. There are plenty for everybody, so look underneath. And there are some extra ones there. And we're looking for ushers. Go over to the Sacred Service opportunities for ushers. And if you are feeling physically able, here's where it gets a little tricky. This section and all over those sections, those get stacked in groups of five high. This section gets left alone because Reverend Peggy will be having her workshop out here, and she'll probably want to put it in a circle. Is that what you want to do? Okay, so that's at 12:45 here. Wine education will be in the double classroom. So if you're new to us today, we have a wine expert in the congregation. Sylvia, stand up. Sylvia teaches those of you who wish to know more about wine. She'll teach you that. All right. All right. Martha, Curtis, Nilda, Sheila, Linda, so glad you joined us. Glad to have you here. Maestro, we are ready.
Thank you, glad you came. The sun goes down, the stars come out, and no one can
something we want you to know. We love you. We're glad you're here. And we're here for you. All right, Eva Bess.
I will spread peace by loving people around the world.
Did you all hear? Yeah.
Step forward. Yeah, and then Eva's going to lead.
Okay, go ahead. Let's go.
I will continue to spread peace into my world.
All right. Yay. Very good. Teens.
Okay, sorry. Hello, everybody. Today in Teen Group, we completed a reflective activity focusing and reflecting on the past, present, and future. We shared what we can incorporate and add abundance to in our lives with positivity.
All right.
And today's quote is, "The past is behind, learn from it. The future is ahead, prepare for it. And the present is here, so live it."
All right. Great. If you will stand, we'll do the benediction. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my heart.
Life is in my heart.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my mind.
Life is in my affairs.
And life is in my affairs.
I take this life out this day, and I share it with another.
Share it with another.
And so it is.
So it is.
So I am.
So I am.
So we are.
So we are.
Amen.
Amen.